Hey everyone, just got back from my first Genesis tournament. I had a lot of fun playing Voiceless again. Since this was my first tournament, I just kind of looked at a random tier list video and saw what kind of decks I had were on there, and I saw Voices, and I just had to run with it. Since this was my first time, my deck is a little bit jank, so I'm gonna run through the list, and then I'll explain some choices and changes I would make for the future. Starting with the engine, it's gonna be 3 low, 3 Saphira, 1 Old Man, 2 Skull Guardian, and then 1 Seravis. For spells, it's 3 barrier, 1 blessing, 2 prayers, and 1 radiance. So that's it for the engine. I'm just trying to max out the engine as much as like reasonably possible. So there's about 17, 18 cards. Also playing some Genesis cards. I'm playing Archfiend, Sage, and Warrior. To go with those, I'm playing 3 Code and 2 Birth. Uh, then my third engine is a bit janky, but I figured it'd be some fun to play. Play 1 Man with the Mark, 3 treasures, 1 Apophis, and then 1 Swamp Beauty. The idea with this is that it's just like an omni when you see these cards. And there's a way to make this card live with your Genesis and your Voiceless engine. For your non-engine, it's 3 Crow, 2 Skullmeister, 2 Ogre, 1 Nib, and 3 Slayer. Crow and Slayer are by far your best non-engine cards. For the extra deck, most of it doesn't really matter, but it's Fucho, Downer, Big Eye, and Construct because that's side-shot fusion. Construct and your Ultimate Slayer targets are the most important ones. So it's Packbit, Malong, Aggregator, Garua, and Entis. I think Entis is very much worth the points. Just being able to out 2 cards with this was really important for me, especially against Archmage. For the rest of the extra cards, it was when I had a much heavier Odeon engine. So it's the Divine Serpent, Tornado Dragon, Giant Hand, Bouncer, Vampire Guy, and the Agnestor Dragon. For the side deck, it's 2 Game of Seal, 1 Skullmeister, 1 Shaddoll Dragon, 1 Shaddoll Beast. To go along with those, I'm playing 3 Shaddoll Fusion, 3 Cosmic Cyclone, 2 Twin Twister, and 2 Creature Swap. So that's it for my main extra inside. Going back through the deck, we can start with the side. I think most of it's pretty standard. I would definitely play most of these cards again, except maybe Creature Swap. This is like the only techie card that I decided to put in. I think the back removal is really important. This could shift to the main instead of some non-engine. 3-star fusion. I think this card's broken. This card's like branded fusion at home, but without points, and it only works going second. But it's really good because you can send one of these guys, make construct, and then send Saphira. So if you have the ritual guy, you can like it's part of your 2-card combo to like get ritual summoning and out the board at the same time. And I think these would stay. I think Kaiju's are really good in Genesis. I think, and the third Skullmaster is matchup dependent, but I could see myself cutting it. The only I think most of this is like okay and it makes sense for this deck in particular. I think the only thing that could change would maybe be Creature Swap, right? It's a bit gimmicky, but if there's Lunalight floating around or any hard boss monsters, I think this card's really good to play. So I'm gonna keep playing it for a while and just see how it goes. Overall, I really did like this card. Extra changes are pretty obvious. I think I'm gonna cut the Odeon card, so if I do these 6, just go and change into other stuff. You generally don't need your extra deck anyway, so it's okay if you don't have like a full extra deck, unless you want to play like Prosperity. These 5 are really good as your not as your Slayer targets. These were okay. I never summoned them. I think they're just cool. I did make Fucho once when I got Crimson Bladed. So like I put 2 lows together and just like made this, and then he couldn't kill me. And then the downer is just for Fucho. Um, Going in the future, my Slayer targets wouldn't change, but I'd probably play 2 constructs. And for the main deck, this is I think the main deck was mostly okay. I I really did like my non-engine the most in Slayer and Crow. I think those are by far the best 6 ones. These 5 could change, but Ogre's pretty low points, so I think it's fine to keep. Skullmeister's free, so it just feels like a very solid hand trap overall. And the nib was okay. It's a bit hefty at 6 points, but I think it's very worth it in your deck because even if you break on nib, you can make use of it as like ritual material. So I think it just works out really well. These 6 cards should go. But the cool thing is, like, to make this live, if you don't draw any of these 5 cards and you only draw your like Voiceless engine or like your Genesis engine, you have Archfiend or Code to get you to Birth, and then you have your Low to get you to Radiant. So like, I think the funny thing is that even if like you didn't have any of these cards to make this live, you could all if you draw any of your other engine, these cards also made this live. So I thought that was actually really cool. Some like neat synergy, I guess, between the two decks. I don't think it's good enough to keep playing it, but um, I think it is pretty cool. Maybe I'll keep trying this again. I might consider cutting it. If I can't think of any other better engine to play, I might just keep playing this engine because this is only 15 points, being the treasure, so it doesn't seem that bad. I think this engine was fine. I think you need to play the third warrior, even though I do hate bricking on this card because you kind of need like more than one target to make your birth live. And this engine is like super solid. Right now, though, the list is at 42 cards, I think. What I would cut from this engine is maybe the Old Man. I don't think the Old Man is all that good right now. Because the best thing about the Old Man is that it beats Droll. It lets you like put a Cerberus on board through Droll. But with hand traps and Droll being not super prevalent right now, and hand traps that stop you from playing entirely kind of make this card dead, it's not as worthwhile to play this card. So I could see myself cutting this. Maybe a warrior if you got super greedy, but I don't think that's needed. I think you still need the third one. And then, like I said, I kind of want to cut the Odeon cards, but also kind of want to keep them in. I might need to cut them just for the sake of making points, because these cards are like 15 points, and pre-prep is 20, so I would need to cut like... I'm not sure what I would have to cut. I think I want to keep 3 bears, so I'd probably have to cut this, play 2 pre-prep, and then I think I'm 1 point over. So I would maybe have to consider cutting 1 nib or 2 ogres. Um, but yeah, I'll figure it out in the future testing. For now, I think Old Man's the only thing I'm confident about going away. Yeah, so if you made it in, thank you so much for making it all the way through. I appreciate it. This deck was really fun to play, and I really enjoyed the small Genesis tournament I played. If you haven't tried it yet, I'd recommend you give it a try. It's so much fun. It feels really creative to be able to kind of build your deck around that limit. But anyway, I think I'm going to end it there. Thank you so much for watching. Have a good rest of your day.